Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the SuperNova Astrology Update for June 16th through 23rd, 2025. Well, we are in, I would say, probably the most intense week of astrology for 2025. What we're experiencing right now is Saturn has just moved over into the sign of Aries, hanging out at 1 degree. And also, Neptune is in Aries right there next to Saturn at 2 degrees. But Saturn and Jupiter have been making this dance, this Saturn Jupiter dance that happens in a 20-year cycle. So the last first quarter square would have been 20 years ago that we experienced this epic square generational time marker, Jupiter square Saturn. This is the third and final square that we are going to experience between these planets. And it's very interesting that in the previous squares, they happened in mutable signs, and now they'll be happening. It will be happening. It is happening right now in cardinal signs as we've just had Jupiter move over. So these are exact Jupiter square Saturn from the 15th to the 18th. But we'll feel that they'll stay in square all the way through the end of the month. Then Jupiter will come into square with Neptune, of course, at the same time right after, just 1 degree. From the 19th to the 23rd, Jupiter will be in square to Neptune, and that will last through July 6th, the energy of that. So it's very powerful to have our epic generational square time marker, Jupiter square Saturn, 5 years since the conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn in 2020. And so we have this epic generational moment, and Neptune is 1 degree away in Aries. And so we've just had Jupiter hanging out at 0 degrees Cancer. Just before that, we had Saturn at 0 degrees of Aries. This whole month of June has been, we have had planets at 0. Most of the month, we have had planets at 0 degrees. And we will continue to have that with Uranus. Well, in Uranus, it won't be until July, but Uranus will hang out at 0 degrees Gemini for quite a while. So we're looking at this whole 0 degree thing. And so Saturn is hanging out at 1, just made it to 1 degree. And then Neptune has just made it to 2 degrees. So to be in this square where Jupiter's going from 1 degree to 2 degrees of Cancer in square to Saturn and then Neptune. It's just such an incredibly powerful message, because going back to this, Aries and Cancer are cardinal signs, and the cardinal signs are the first signs, the starters. Aries, the very first sign of the zodiac. So it's about let's go and do something. And in this case, Saturn is our timeline. It's like laws, rules, reality, our relationship to physical, the physical world. And so we know we're getting a timeline makeover. We've got to. And it's very powerful to have Saturn at 1 degree Aries. It's saying new, one, wholeness, the whole I am, that the new timeline is about coming into our full potential. We're not going to stay in this loop-de-loop garbage anymore, where we are hiding from our own power and playing small and being content with external powers outside of ourselves stealing our energy and our power and our money. We can't do it anymore. Now, this is the energy of the Jupiter square Saturn and Neptune. It's like there's a cog in the wheel, right? So the energy, just be really, really patient. Try to slow down, try to breathe, try to understand that we are in this massive labor pain at this point with this square, Jupiter square Saturn, Jupiter square Neptune. And so there's a feeling of weirdness, because we got Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, which is illusions and delusions, but also spiritual path and spiritual service. And so the Neptune conjunction with Saturn, which is going to continue through this year, is this invitation to bring our physical reality and our new timeline into alignment with our dream. And what is our dream? In order to know our dream, we have to go back to the original dream that Mother Earth had when she became our world, our goddess, Great Mother's daughter. You could see it like that. This embodiment of the goddess we get to walk upon and breathe upon. She is a sentient being. And so we've got to come back into communication with her. And this is exactly what the astrology is saying. And so it's so incredibly powerful that Jupiter is hanging out here at the very beginning degrees of Cancer. And Jupiter is expansion and growth and more and luck and money and amplification of whatever it comes across. So in Cancer, at the very beginning degrees, it's this amplification of mother energy. The same thing we're talking about that built our world, that we were there when she imagined it into being. And we get to be a part of this experience as her stewards. We are the rightful inheritors of her wealth. Now, the lower matrix paradigms have tried to keep us continually distracted and do with chasing after, poverty and scarcity vibrations and programs, keeping us chasing after the shiny things and the things that we think are wealth. And then the energy of distracting us continually from our spiritual purpose, from the true wealth. So our whole world has to transfer back into true wealth. And that is exactly why we sit at the precipice of a new world right now, with Uranus just tomorrow moving to 29 degrees of Taurus. And so this is a very powerful energy for us, with Uranus coming to the end degrees of Taurus, saying the culmination of our issues around whether or not we deserve and feel worthy of our higher power. Now, Uranus, we're coming to find in this last chapter, over the last couple of years of Uranus in Taurus, we've had this energy come forward of like a gatekeeper energy, that Uranus has this kind of there is higher knowledge and wisdom. It will trickle down to you if you're worthy, or you prove yourself, or you pay off the right person, or whatever needs to happen. So there's this gatekeeper energy in the lower vibration of Uranus, and the ruler of Aquarius, saying that you're not good enough, you can't handle it, right? Like you can't handle your own power. You probably do bad things. And it's like, no. You do bad things if you have a bad heart. But supernova souls, we're earth stewards. And yes, they have tried to corrupt us down to a cellular DNA level. They have been trying to convince us that we're something different than what we are. And this is the astrology. The astrology is saying that we cannot hide from who we really are in our identity. We've been allowing ourselves to be gaslit. If you know the term, it's about where someone's trying to tell you something that's not true, that's clearly not true in your world. But then by just arguing with you and telling you a different story, they make you think that you're crazy and doubt your truth. And therefore you doubt your intuition. So our whole world programming is based on this gaslighting concept, And so we've been surrounded by people, supernova souls, who are playing a very specific karmic role to argue with us, deny the truth of spirituality, to make fun of us, to ostracize us, to make us feel different and weird. And, it's interesting because all the spiritual truth that we might want to talk about and move into, that is so threatening to them, that they're so angry at, and so much hatred and caustic energy towards us. But if we distill it down of our spiritual path, if you are, for supernova souls, it's like what it really is love. So they're against love of like the energy that makes the world go around. The only commodity we actually have, which is it's the same as life force energy, you know? And so we have by birthright this amount of life force energy. And apparently, these forces, through all of these mechanisms of control, have kept us at simply a trickle. And so, how do we own this back? How do we step into this power and say, oh, yeah, this is mine. I know how to use it. I'm not scared. And I'm not going to listen to your gaslighting that it's not real or that's going to hurt me or anything. So it's like this continual denial in our world and distraction, right? So we're constantly distracted through traumas and issues. And, if you feel like this, constantly targeted with these emotionally triggering issues that seem to come out of nowhere. It's literally targeting through an AI system because you are trying to stay awake and alive and in your own life and soul and essence. And they're after you for that. All of us. It used to be just some people were targeted, right? But anybody who's not going along with the computer simulation model and becoming a part of it has been getting harassed. And this is huge messages coming in for supernova souls. Like, I can see this as maybe on another level, on another level of consciousness experience from this 3D experience. But I really do think it, or whatever D we're in, whatever this is that's happening, wherever we're going. But at some point in this reality experience, it feels like there's a possibility for this revealing, because this targeting can only happen through digital harassment, right? Like they have to have all your information, they have to have all this. So that means that anything that's been done to you, which you have no idea, most people have no idea the level of targeting. They just think their life is messed up, And but that's all digital, so it's all recorded, right? There's a record of all of it. And so we know exactly what has happened in these situations. And what would it be like? And I feel like I wish I could do this for you right now, maybe energetically on the astral plane, because I'm starting to have a better understanding of what this type of energy is that supernova souls have been dealing with over lifetimes, but particularly right now. And if you could understand the level of interference in your physical body, you're trying to manipulate your emotions, and just the harassment type energies, and making sure you're surrounded by low vibration people and surrounded by technology and surrounded by poison. Specifically you, like, this is what's going on. If you knew all of these things that they have done deliberately to everyone, but specifically to supernova souls or advanced souls that are not buying in to the robot plan, you would be so freaked out, but you'd also be really compassionate towards yourself. And, maybe we are going through this like massive, quick, crazy situation of having to wake up into our power really quick and be prepared really quick and heal our emotional pain really quick. And so is all of this has been happening to us part of a greater spiritual initiation, because it all does happen within the one, and so then we graduate when we graduate. And so it's really hard though, because it's just been like, where is just a little bit of compassion and support? Like, can we just try learning and growing that way instead of all of this constant pain and trauma, And then you have to find space to get out of the trauma energy in order to heal the trauma energy. And so, but if you understood the forces that have been deliberately working against you, you would have so much more compassion and understanding for yourself. And you'd also know what a badass you are. Because if they're like doing all this, like a lot of the emotional triggering, there's triggering that's like trying to keep us off our game. And then there's emotional triggering trying to keep us from being able to focus and move forward spiritually, specifically. And so if we can understand that the triggers can only trigger till there's something to trigger, and that we're in the nitty gritty of this really intense, excruciating, but intense and powerful time of transformation. Like, this is literally when we break free from the old skin of in the transformation, this year of the snake. And when that old skin, it's not going to come off until it gets a little bit uncomfortable, or a lot uncomfortable, right? And we don't know who we are underneath it. And after a snake sheds its skin, it's pretty vulnerable. It's not able to move as quickly, and it does not have that protection and so it's more vulnerable to predators. Is this how you're feeling right now? Just shed away, everything just torn away from your life, and very vulnerable to predators everywhere around, right? But can you feel this is shifting? There is something going on where the negative control forces are losing their grip. And it's interesting because there'll be squeezes of intense energy, but then like this peace that can come over. And just remember this, okay? Because we are in the most intense squares, because we also have Mars in square to Uranus at the end of Taurus. We're talking about this whole issue, this culmination of whether or not we can handle and deserve our own power. And if we don't figure that out, then we're doomed. And we're apparently the cream of the crop as far as past life souls who have worked with advanced power in our bodies. So that's why we're here at this place, at the cutting edge. And yet we're broken, or at least a lot of supernova souls have gone through so much. And it's like, how can you hit the ground running when you're so broken? And this is just this spiritual exhaustion that's just washing over this, like, just like, enough is enough. I'm just done. And that is exactly the place we have to get to overcome the fear programming and step into our power. And also there's quite a bit of frustration and anger. This is Mars and square to Uranus. Mars is there at 29 degrees Leo, and an exact square to Uranus today. And they will be feeling this through up to the solstice. And the solstice is on Friday the 20th. So this whole week we're going to be feeling Mars square Uranus, but it peaks out on the 14th and 15th. And so this has been bringing some intense frustration of not being able to move forward, because Mars is ready to go in Leo. And the end of Leo, that culmination energy, is got to shine, got to show myself, got to express my light in the world, right? And it's so wild because Uranus at the end degrees of Taurus is like, you don't deserve that. That's not your light. You can't handle that. You'll probably blow up the planet or something, or like really hurt somebody, So there's all this inadvertent triggering of our emotions and our energies to keep us in a place of being scared of the power that we truly wield as advanced souls. But we have to remember that one true commodity, right? Because we're moving into this different world. And in the capital of good, the commodity is love, or you. So they've told us all along we're garbage. The healing, the love, and supernovas, you're so impressive. Like, I just can't believe it. I feel like I'm here to tell you, like, whoa, you've been messed with, and you kept showing up in love. Just getting back up and loving. And then it's hard, because sometimes loving and surviving means being really mean. And it's just like so hard to have to deal with so much aggressive energy in our world and try to still be nice. And you have done a wonderful job. But can you be nice to the main commodity, the only one you're in charge of? You and your energy. We're really being called to honor and treat ourselves as sacred, to have that compassion towards what we've gone through, because we have to rapidly drop those stories so we can step into the new. And that's this Jupiter square Saturn. It's not just Jupiter square Saturn, it's Jupiter square Saturn and Neptune. So we're adjusting our reality to the I am, to the what's possible, to the Christ consciousness, to the full potential of the human. And we're going to dream that into existence. you know? Um, and so Jupiter in Cancer is saying we do that by expanding into nurturing and mothering and loving. And so this is a part of the task. If we look at the way bigger picture of what supernova souls have been working on through this evolution, one of the things we've been working on again and again, which is why you're always doing the work of the mother, and we talk about this like you're with her because um, you have been. So we're talking about this original vision, this birthing of Earth, of what Earth wants to become, you know, and you were there as an Earth steward. We, as Earth stewards, the lovers of Earth, her children, and we bring all the humans into that place of being her children. This is such a powerful energy for us. And with Jupiter at the very beginning of Cancer is just like, just, you know, coming, just come on, you know, and this is the thing, it's just like, well, wait, all those things that they have rejected us for and cast us aside and called us garbage is actually love, the only true and real wealth and commodity. So we are completely reworking everything, and it has to come back to that original timeline that we are, that the commodity in the new wealth is love, and that's the only way we're going to get to where we're going. You as a disseminator, right? You've always been doing this mother's work because so what I was trying to say is that I keep getting very important thought when it keeps getting pulled out of you. It's that supernovas are soul groups. One of the things we've been working on this Christ consciousness timeline the whole time, creating the perfect body to be able to host the light and evolve. And part of the story of what's come forward in the past lives of supernova souls, as in their role in the greater evolution, is always bringing it back to home and family. Okay. Because that's where the evolution goes away. Right. So you can see this in the programming and the agendas of our current world. So it's definitely got this. We've got this fake reptilian version of mothering and a huge lack. Even our healthcare, it's called care, but there's caring people, but the actual medicine is disastrous and an absolute affront to the sacred human form. And so we've been warriors for the sacred human form. And guess what? The sacred form we're really working on when we're talking about this is Mother Earth. Our body's her body. We want to clean up the earth, we clean up our body. We want to clean up consciousness, we clean up our consciousness. And we want to talk to the waters. If we want to affect the consciousness, we need to talk to the waters of our body to affect the consciousness of the earth. So this knowing of who we are, supernovas, that we are always trying to move things back to home and mother centered, right? So that's the healing, nurturing, love, caring for people. And there's been a massive block and resistance to that energy, right? And Jupiter at the beginning of the years of Cancer, after Mars took that long initiation, maybe that's why we're feeling this initiation energy so intense, because it's like, Jupiter now making it to Cancer is like bringing a wave. It's going to be a rehash of Mars retrograde in Cancer. And so we're going to it's like, what are we going to, so we did our initiation. We went on our quest and we came back and we survived, but did we receive the prize? Maybe this energy of like, okay, so we know the energy's ours, we know the money's ours, we know the power is ours because we are the stewards of Earth. We're in alignment with her. We have been doing the mother's work from every lifetime, from the beginning. And so we stand as her representatives, aligned with her and present with her needs, her love, her messages. And so that is the energy that is, understanding this new wealth and how important it is. So every time that we tried to build societies, and the few times that we could really come together in communities, we always tried to build the perfect nurturing society. Now that's a balance of masculine and feminine, but it's based in the understanding that we all come from one. That's what the mother's teaching really is. And so if we all come from one, it's exactly Yeshua's teachings, all of them, mom's teachings. It's like if we come from one, then we maybe want to treat each other like we would want to treat ourselves. And we got so ass backwards in the supernova souls that we can treat everybody else, even our worst abusers, with the most love and care and compassion, but we cannot seem to treat ourselves with that. And that is the frustration, I think, of this Mars square Uranus. It's like, get out of my way. Give me back my resources. I'm done living this way. This is our world. It's our world, and you took it over, and we're taking it back. Just this incredible frustration of like, we have a birthright, entitlement to feeling safe in our own world, right? So this is the energy of Venus right now. I think the read on this is Venus in Taurus. It's her home sign, right? So Venus just moved into Taurus last week, but then came into that square with Pluto at 3 degrees. That was on the 10th. And that lasted through the 13th or so. So she's come out of that square with Pluto, but now she's in an opposition with Black Moon Lilith. And this is triggering the foreboding feeling of that Pluto and square Black Moon Lilith that happened for like 3 months straight over the last 3 months. We come out of it, but Venus is triggering it. And it's so intense because Mars is square Uranus, fighting for his light, right? Mars and Leo, 29 degrees, like his right to shine after everything he's gone through and this massive spiritual initiation. And you computers are thinking you're going to keep us from coming into our true human potential. I don't think so. But square with Uranus, where there's the blockade, there's the gate, there's the quarantine, and the continual message like, well, you're not quite ready. Oh, you're not quite good enough. Oh, you're still triggered emotionally because we are really messing with your whole biology and inundating you with radio frequencies, and just seeing what's happened, frying you like a little bug. And then you overreact emotionally, and you're just not ready to handle your own responsibility. But I think if we had some healing, if we could go to Supernova Ranch, if we could do all the things we know that can help us so much, and all the healing we have for each other, and we could this is what's required. Like we have a very short amount of time to prepare to be leaders that are balanced and whole, and can show the world what's possible and what we've been talking about the whole long time, right? We can't tell them, we have to show them. We've been trying to tell them about the spiritual light in every lifetime. And now we get to show them. It doesn't sound scary at all after being burned at the stake again and again, huh? Okay, but this is what we need to remember about this astrology. So let's talk through Venus, but these squares that are all happening, because Mars square Uranus, very tense, very angry, very frustrated. Give me what's mine, And then Venus, opposite of Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio, Venus at home in Taurus. So she's so happy to be home, but this is the thing. It's like what's playing out in the sky, and maybe this can help us because it's that loop-de-loop thing. It's just like, oh, the same story. Here's the same story as playing out this way, because Venus is at home in Taurus, and it's her home. And so the energy of that square with Pluto and opposite Black Moon Lilith is just like she's getting harassed in her own home, and it's like Lilith getting kicked out of the garden. It's like her garden. And then the patriarchal energies came along and decided that it would be more useful for them to create scarcity and disconnection in order to continue to own and control, right? To hoard the creation energy, hoard the feminine, hoard the magic, hoard the healing. Call it bad, call it wrong, call it evil, demonize the good. That's the Piscean age, right? Now, Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, finally out of Pisces since 2011. And so in Aries, it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. That was upside down, inside out. What's the truth? What's the essence? You know? And the essence is at this beginning degrees of Aries, the whole true potential for the human. And we represent that, and we will not back down. We know and understand fully and completely that the powers that have sought to control us are not as powerful as us. We are demonstrating across this realm day after day that our consciousness is more powerful than massive billions of dollars spent on weapons to control weather. Our consciousness and connection with Mother. Now, this is the thing when she says this. She's like, it's not that my resources aren't yours to have and use. But when we go into the resources and say the feminine and the creation energy and the delicate home, where everything that everyone wants is there. But if we invade that house without asking, say it's the soldiers in the village, right? And her man is off fighting. And they're saying they could nicely approach and gently ask with reverence to request an invitation for connection and to receive what's offered. But instead, the energies just invade and steal, right? So mom's saying, hey, we got to do it a different way now. The invading and the stealing is the same energy of the technologies being used for harm. And those who wanted to cause harm have been the kings of this world. Like that has more clout in this world if you're going to hurt people and steal their money. That actually gets you more so-called wealth. Go ahead and be corrupt, hurt them, knock them down, steal their money, and then you're rewarded. This can't go on, right? It's like these tables have got to turn. And what happens when those tables turn? The last will be first. And, that's you, but you're supposed to be on the cutting edge. You've been going through it, not just to go through it. They don't want your power because they want your power. They want your power so you never own it for yourself. And now we say, oh, you want some of this? Turns out we were the original directed energy weapon. And we don't even have to harm or misuse. It's just we become the bug zapper, right? We can no longer be zapped like a bug because we have that light in our energy field. Now, this is real. This is powerful. And I urge you, if you're struggling with any of these issues, the key of feeling targeted, feeling harassed, dealing with emotions that you feel like aren't yours, and things on any level, vibrational frequencies, the way to deal with it is with our energy field. Our energy field is more real of a body than our physical body, and they just don't want us to know about it. And this is what the intuitive training is about. My new course on my website, Owning Your Energetic Field, is a concentrated, very concentrated, deep mysteries, but also in hopefully packageable parts. It's a 9-session course working on each chakra. And the Owning Your Energetic Field shows us and tells us how to own our field, right? That this is our autonomous space. In order to access your physical body with toxins, with harm, with frequencies, anything, bad vibes, they've got to get to your field. And so all the issues that supernova souls are facing right now are solved by this and the empowerment that can come. So I urge you, please, if you can, do that course. And there's a payment plan that you can do payments, 2 monthly payments. And so if that could help you, but this is what all supernova souls need. And And when we walk forth in this armor of light, there is no stopping us. And that's exactly what's going to be happening. So that's the tools, the deep, concentrated, ancient mystery knowledge that came through years and years and years of developing that intuitive training. And so I urge you to check that out. The information is below on that course. Owning your energetic field, take back your power. And this is everything that we're talking about right now. So we've got all this tension, right? I mean, Venus, let's talk about Venus is at home in her garden, and there's been invaders. She thought she got them out of there. Pluto has just challenged her, come into her gated community and challenged her, right? And so this opposition with Black Moon Lilith feels like this. It's like harassment energy, but it's deep, dark secrets and shame. There's like a whole bunch of shame being triggered from very little things. And supernovas, this is another thing I could wish I could say to you. If you understood the level of true evil, not what happened accidentally when you lost your temper or whatever. It's like, we have to understand how that to give ourselves support and kudos for remaining in alignment with the love and the mother and just keep coming back, but there's so much shame coming up, and this is Venus kind of facing where she's gotten off track, facing where she let herself get out of control and go crazy and hysterical. The feminine is, it's just like there's so much power in this creation energy, but just like anything else and any other avenue of it, demonized. And so it's just a challenge. And Black Moon Lilith opposite in Scorpio is the deepest, darkest secrets of the feminine around creation energy. Right? So Venus, our feminine, is facing the shame of wherever she felt like she used energy that wasn't in alignment with creation. And that's why all these meditations we do, all this praying, all this centering, all this owning our space, aligning with the mother, that means you cannot miscreate from that place. She will not let you. It's not possible. And so everything is about alignment with her. And I think that's the message of this Jupiter square Saturn with Jupiter in Cancer. Now, what we need to know is that all of these squares that are happening, Jupiter square Saturn, Jupiter square Neptune, Mars square Uranus, Venus is, opposite Black Moon Lilith, but they're all being harmonized, or at least the Venus, not Black Moon Lilith, but these intense squares, because Jupiter square Saturn and Neptune, but Saturn and Neptune are in sextile to Uranus, right? And so Mars is in square to Uranus, intense tension and frustration but Uranus is in sextile to Saturn. So it's a beautiful configuration if you look at it with this Mars square Uranus and Jupiter square Saturn and Neptune, and they overlap. And then there's these beautiful sextiles that connect those energies together like a portal, like a gateway, like a spaceship, right? And the message is that we cannot go forward into our new life that we've been waiting for, we know is there, and we've been preparing for, and doubting, and then reimagining, and then getting excited again, and visualizing and knowing, and then doubting. But it's like we cannot move forward with practical steps in that new life until after this square, Jupiter square Saturn. And then, of course, Neptune's involved. So after Jupiter square Neptune, that's the 6th of July. So it's kind of taking us through that 4th of July. The first week of July energy is we're working out a lot of crap, but it's so cool because as we have these squares happening, they're interacting with that Saturn sextile Uranus, one of the longstanding sextiles of 2025. But also what we're starting to feel is that Uranus is coming into a trine. Uranus at the end degrees of Taurus, about to move into Gemini, coming into a beautiful air trine with Pluto. Now, Neptune is at the beginning of Aries, right in the middle. And so what's happening is these planets, we had a little taste of Neptune, Pluto sextile Neptune And then they've kind of come out and they're going back in and back out. And then Neptune sextile Uranus is coming into play. And so basically, we've got that Pluto in Aquarius, Neptune in Aries, and Uranus in Gemini. And that is these two sextiles that anytime anything comes across on the other way through Libra, um, the beginning degrees of Libra, then that will make a kite shape in the sky. And so when we're looking at August and September of this year, we're going to be having Black Moon Lilith and the Sun and Venus triggering all the planets, personal planets, triggering this kite shape in the sky where we lift up. But we're just starting to move into this energy, because as of tomorrow, the 17th, Pluto, we're starting to feel the trine between the air trine between Pluto and Aquarius and Uranus and Gemini. Uranus hasn't moved into Gemini yet. Doesn't happen until the beginning of July. Did I write that down? Actually, it happens on the 17th of July, but they're already close to. Oh no, I'm sorry. It happens on. Oh, I don't have it written down. So sorry. I think it's the 7th or something where Uranus moves into Gemini. So that is so powerful, because it's this, first of all, speaking to the new Renaissance. And Jupiter and Saturn have been coming together for the last 200 years in earth signs. For the next 200 years, they're going to come together in conjunction in air signs. So it speaks to a 200-year cycle in air energy, which is music, art, dance, connection, vibration, frequency, sounds, messages. We are reenacting, reawakening the ancient temples. They used frequency and vibration, that song and words. And so it's so beautiful that this energy is starting. So the exact trine that will form a kite is formed by, the body of the kite is formed by a trine. The trines happen in the same signs. So that's an air trine kite. And the trine of Pluto and Uranus together will peak out exact from August 28th to September 15th. So very, very powerful. And then it's in September, August and September, that we feel that kite taking shape. The kite shape is about all the pieces coming together and lifting up. So it's like a kite in your birth chart is indicating that you have a lot of diverse experiences in past lives, but you have not yet been able to bring them together a cohesive whole. Very SuperNova-y, right? In this lifetime, the kite is about putting all the pieces together and lifting it up, right? Taking it somewhere, going somewhere, taking your gifts and skills and moving it forward. It's this whole evolution, right? It's time to go. Everything's telling us this. With all these planets at the beginning degrees, because get this. Okay, so we know that these intense squares are happening. It's like the Jupiter square Saturn and Neptune, Mars square Uranus, and Venus opposite Black Moon Lilith is a gridlock. You cannot go this way anymore. Absolute gridlock. But then we've got those sextiles. And the sextiles are like, well, we can jimmy the lock a little bit, And we want to look at the placement of these things. And so there's very powerful energy and messages coming at the time of the solstice. So the solstice is this Friday, June 20th, and there will be a solstice soul group session on Friday morning, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, where we can really look at shared past life pictures for our group. Whoever shows up, it means that you have some resonance with the pictures that are coming forward with the soul group energies of information. Looking at these shared past life pictures in order to get healing, clearing, clarity, and preparation, it feels like, huh? So that is a very powerful energy on the solstice. I just wanted to talk it through with you in relation to everything we've talked about, of this like intense squares, but then the sextiles kind of lining up into a nice energy. And we have another sextile that we're feeling right now, and that's Mercury coming into sextile. Mercury will be coming into sextile with the south node and trine to the north node. So even though there's intense squares where we can't go and the gridlock is happening, the message is that the gridlock is only on the old. So if you're getting hung up, right, this glitchy feeling, the Saturn feeling, I call it, is like, oh, Saturn, but it's like where things like the physical reality doesn't line up and things can't connect, just everything takes longer. You have to go roundabout, like it's just glitchy and weird. And so that type of energy that comes with Saturn squares is totally harmonized. And it's saying that Mercury in Cancer, also in Cancer, with Jupiter and the Sun will be moving into Cancer on that, will be, for the solstice, the Sun is at 0 degrees Cancer. And so the Sun will be taking its time in the 0 point, as we move into the next chapter of this whole experience. And that 0 degrees Cancer, just 2 degrees away from Jupiter, will be at 2 degrees Cancer. And so, but Mercury, it will be at 23 degrees Cancer, and that is in trine to the north node in Pisces and sextile to the south node in Virgo. So all of this is saying, Cancer, we need a better, deeper, new understanding of mothering, which is the feminine, and that's how we're going to move forward this timeline. So what happens on the solstice when the Sun is at 0 degrees Cancer, we've got this line up at the beginning degrees of the signs, because right after the solstice, the Sun will come into, and after the square, Jupiter-Uranus square, is exact, that lets off, begins to let off after the 18th. But right then, we're going to feel the energy of the Sun coming in to trigger the square. So the Sun will come into a square with Saturn on the 23rd of June, and then a conjunction with Jupiter on the 25th. So a square with Saturn at 2 degrees, a conjunction with Jupiter at 3 degrees. Or no, I'm sorry, the square with Saturn is at 1 degree. Sun square Saturn. And then Sun conjunct Jupiter at 3 degrees. So the Sun will be triggering this square, and the very powerful energy when the Sun comes into that conjunction with Jupiter on the 25th, exactly for the Cancer new moon. So the Cancer new moon happens Wednesday, June 25th. But that's early in the morning. So the activation will be Tuesday, June 24th. So the Cancer new moon is very powerful. It happens at 4 degrees Cancer, 8 minutes. So right at those early degrees. And 4 degrees is the house rulership of Cancer. 4 is the house that Cancer rules in our birth chart, So it's a number of Cancer. It's home and family and establishing 4 walls, right? And so establishing something new too, because it's a cardinal sign, but something homey and wonderful. And so it's interesting. We've got that 4, and then it's 8 minutes. So 4 degrees, 8 minutes. And so we're talking about establishing a new home. And then 8 is about transformation. So transforming the mother energy. It's almost like we're coming into communication with her, and then together we're going to ascend and transform together. We got to come back into connection. So that's a very powerful message for us with that. And then what's happening is that we'll be having, the Sun will be at 0 degrees and Jupiter at 2 degrees. So they're coming into the conjunction. The exact conjunction will be on the 25th. And so that's very powerful energy for the solstice, because it's like Jupiter's just ahead, expanding into Cancer, saying, come on. And the Sun is our identity. So it's like, come on, Sun, this is who we really are. We're human. Our commodity is love. Our wealth is love. We're not going to use our resources to create harm anymore. That's not the world we live in, So it's just this lining up. And so what's also happening is that Mars is going to move into Virgo on the 18th of June. So when Mars moves into Virgo, that will put Mars in a sextile relationship with Jupiter and the Sun coming up in Cancer. So the Sun and the Moon for this new moon on next week on the 25th will be in sextile to Jupiter. So the Sun and Jupiter will be together in sextile to Mars. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to say. And it's very, very powerful and beautiful. And when the Sun catches up to the exact sextile with Mars, that feels like a very special day, the 28th of June. And so much is leading up to this. Now, Mars has an exact sextile with Jupiter right for the solstice on the 21st. Mars in Virgo in sextile to Jupiter in Cancer. It's so beautiful because Mars, our warrior, just coming out of Leo and fighting for the right to shine the light, but having that long time in Cancer and then coming into Virgo, an earth sign, a sign of healing and cleaning up. And Mars is ready to go. Mars has had his initiation and he wants to get to work. He wants to dig in the dirt. He wants to make it happen and clean it up in Virgo. So Mars and Virgo in sextile to Jupiter, expanding into the mother energy. It's like, build the garden, will ya? Will ya just build the garden? Everything's there. Everything we've talked about. The life force, the demonstration of life force, the love, the care, the nurturing, the connection to nature and to the process of what it means to exist as part of something bigger, that we get to have our own individual facet. So on this day of the solstice with the Sun at 0 degrees Cancer, we've got Jupiter will be at 2 degrees Cancer. Neptune will be at 2 degrees Aries. Saturn at 1 degree Aries. And then Mars will be at 2 degrees Virgo. So we've got all these planets at 2 degrees. We've got Mars at 2 degrees Virgo, Jupiter at 2 degrees Cancer, Neptune at 2 degrees Aries, making these dynamic connections, right? All at 2 degrees. So what is this telling us? We also have Saturn at 1 degree, and we'll have and Pluto at 3 degrees. So we've got the Sun at 0 degrees Cancer, this new imagining of who we are as nurturing beings in the next chapter of our lives at the solstice. And then 3 major planets in relationship to each other at 2 degrees of signs. And then we've got 1 at 1 and 1 at 3. So 3, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, let's go. It's a countdown. It is let's go. And the 2, 2, 2 together, it makes 6, right? So it's like, let's go on claiming back the humanness of humanity. Because that's what 6 represents. So it's a very powerful number. And the other thing that's happening with this is that the message is like, little bit uncomfortable for supernova souls with all our difficulties in relationships, but that yes, we have to have our beautiful sovereign autonomy and claim our soul and claim our energy field and all that. But all these 2s are saying that we are the arc, to build the arc, you got to go 2 by 2. The arc, Noah didn't build the ark. It was the 2 by 2 that built the ark, apparently. And it gives us access to the ark, and it gives us protection from the ark. It gives us the way to travel through dimensional reality to wherever we need to go through this transition. So there is a real call for collaboration, and that means a rapid healing and disintegration of all of our relationships constructs that have kept us from coming into the beautiful gift of co-collaboration. We're seeing this with the South Node at the North Node and the South Node right now at 22 degrees. North Node 22 degrees of Pisces, South Node 22 degrees of Virgo. The North Node, the 22 saying it's collaboration, and 22 the master builder, that it was that collaboration, that love, that care, that perfect balance between the masculine and the feminine, the focus of home and family and mother that built the magic of this world. The master builders. The technologies are based on love. We better get this figured out, because those technologies have been stolen and used for harm. And it's like this is the flipping of the tables. It's like those who are manipulating us and stealing our money and resources to cause harm, deliberate harm, is that's no longer a commodity in our world. See, this is where we need to be like, not only ignore or just not pay attention to these distracting things, but we have to literally blip them out of our reality. Like, you are not real. That targeting, that I see you, I acknowledge it, but you are not real. You have no power over me. It is not affecting me in one iota. I will not allow my peace to be disturbed. We have to be the king and the queen of our space, the sovereign being that says, this is the realm of the mother. If you come near this, you will be healed. Oh, sorry about that. And this is part of the thing we've been dealing with. We know the intensity of our energy and the movement and all the healing we want to do, and we're around other people, and then just it might express out of their field in uncomfortable ways. And then of course we get the blame. If you can't take the message, then just you blame the messenger, right? So, and that's what we've been. We've been the messenger and the lovers of the children of our mother, who we were part of this beautiful creation with. And if we want to go further in the evolution, this astrology says we got to come back to her, because it's hers. It's her evolution. It's her resources. And this is where us as her earth stewards, Mars square Uranus at 29 degrees, is like, we have had enough. We will not hand over our energy, and you must give it back. You must give back what was stolen. We cannot move forward with the work and who we are until you give back what's stolen. So it's like, how do we do this in our field? How do we take back our energy? And of course, that's the owning your energetic field work, but then collectively and our connection to each other, moving into our most appropriate action and work and focus. This is what, now that this square is resolved, like we said, we can finally get clarity and move in real ways, take actual steps. So very, very powerful energy. The solstice is that huge shift because we've got that lineup of all those planets at the early degrees, 222. It's drawing us together to work in the sacred union, the marriage of opposites, of the divine masculine, divine feminine coming together, healing the great divide, and releasing the power of the scalar wave of the perfect balance between the masculine and the feminine. So the 2 is a very important message for us, that we go 2 by 2. And we better, now you got to go easy on yourself, supernova souls. For the most part, the people you've been trying to relate to have not even been really real people. And of course, they're in that team of constantly gaslighting you in the nicest way possible, but distracting and gaslighting you from your spiritual perspective. It starts with your perspective. And then they go for the dream, don't they? It's real. The astrology says that the planets are speaking. This lineup is so beautiful and so many messages. It's like, yeah, this is the turning of the tide. There's no going forward for the old way, and they want to make it the end of the world with every day you find a new way that we're going to, there's an underwater volcano. We got solar flares. We've got the polar shift. We've got, earthquakes and whatever. I mean, it's like there's just so many ways, solar flash, of it all to end. And it's like we exist. This is what they've tried to hide from us. This is the energy of Aries, the magic, the message, the picture of Saturn and Neptune together. We exist. Therefore, we am. And we am going to take back our power, you know? Um, and so, because we didn't understand, I guess, that it was ours. But this is this energy of the surge that our way forward, our timeline, our relationship to time, our laws and rules of our reality have got to be based yet again on the wholeness of what's possible in human evolution. That we're here to come back into divine connection. And the best way is through the womb, isn't it? To be born again. So this is just, I feel like this Jupiter moving into Cancer, the Cancer new moon, the sun and the moon and Jupiter all together in sextile to Mars in Virgo, saying, let's get to work on the cleaning it up, right? Let's get into the projects. Where's the money for the humanitarian funds? You're stealing our money and using it to fry us and to try to manipulate the weather and to start war after war after war. No, now the money comes for the humanitarian projects. And I don't know if there is a better soul out there, supernova soul, to move on this. That we have the vision in our DNA deep. We've lived it in these communities that were based on mother. We don't have to try to figure out the way to do it. We know exactly, I mean, we get to, it unfolds in specifics, but we know energetically. And I hope and I pray, if there's anybody else on this earth that's going to lead us forward from this place, it's supernova souls. And that can be the stewards, that can align fully and completely. Like, no, this project is with her. And if you're going to try to distract or take us away or bring it. We've been dealing with so much infiltration and manipulation of forces in every project. And imagine being free of that, being so powerful in the energy and focus and alignment of the mother's work that we're just doing it. And being that living, breathing example, being that demonstration project for the world. Say, hey, look, we were trying to tell you for eons that there is a spiritual light inside of you, But now we're just going to have to just shine the light and you can figure out what to do with that. So it's crazy times for us, man. It's going to get so different so fast. And this is why you don't know what's coming, right? So the more you don't know, the more alignment you are, the more you don't know what's coming, because we are the last to know, apparently. And yet we can feel and we know the vision and we have the DNA codes. They've tried to corrupt these in our bodies, but it doesn't matter because we had them. And so we have them. We have access to them in the Akashic records and through the Gaia codes in the waters, the most pure primary waters, the highest mountains and the deepest caves. And we can talk and work with these waters, bathe in these waters on the astral plane, connect with this soul of Mother Earth, and get the codes that have been corrupted in our own circuitry or our own memory bank, So that's a really cool energy for the Cancer new moon activation and the soul group session, Solstice, both. Those will be close together, very power packed when we do these events. And I just appreciate so much you showing up, energetically showing up, even if you can't, just in your consciousness. If you can't make it the live and do the replay, you are right there with us. I'm sure anybody who catches replays is like, whoa, she already said that, but she just talked about something that happened today, right? Or last week. And how did that happen? It's because we're working on this level, it's so powerful. So we're working outside of time. This is the most important current information. So the owning your energetic field is what we need to protect ourselves right now and to own our power and just to be the badasses that we are. But the activation gives you the current message, the current vibration, everything you need. It's just like a packaged, and it can be intense, right? And it's good to go back and listen again and again, but to get the replays and stuff, but if you can show up energetically in your intention or physically, it is just so powerful and so helpful for me right now too, to have your support on any level, just being here energetically or offering the old way, old world um, cash dollars. There's a link to donate. And thank you so much for being a part of the Soul Tribe. Being part of the Soul Tribe, never miss an activation. You're right there with us in that energy. And I just really, really appreciate you so, so much for your support. So a link to donate, owning your energetic field. These are the ways that you can stay and receive from the supernova field. The supernova souls are so powerful. When I work with them, for a long time, I couldn't do individual sessions because I got too burnt out, too sick during COVID, overworking. And now that I'm back in doing individual sessions, it's so incredibly powerful to work with supernova souls and to really see the amazing people that you are and to know that you're real and how exciting it is to move forward in this new chapter where we get to dig in the dirt. We get to break ground, and maybe that's the energy of Mars moving into Virgo and coming up into that sextile with Jupiter for this, for solstice and for the new moon. So saying that, yeah, now we get to work. Now we get to build. And that's really cool because the message said you can't, we're just in limbo, right? It's like, oh God, I can't make a decision. I can't see straight. I don't even know what's happening. What weird energies, like constant weird physical symptoms. And but we are getting the message that we got that message that we cannot start the groundwork, the real work, the breaking ground, the digging in the dirt until after this square. And we're right in it. So you made it. Congratulations. This is a huge energy coming through. It has not been easy. And you have been challenged on so many levels because they want your energy, they want your soul, they want your power. And now you have to be like, well, what am I going to do with it? And it doesn't matter. It matters so much because it's your dreams and visions and your own unique message and vision, what you want to bring. But as long as you're in alignment with Mother, it will unfold perfectly because she's got the codes, remember? So this is our task right now. And so very powerful energies, and we're going to be feeling this intense square. Just know that there's this weird, impossible feeling we talked about, and this is Saturn square Jupiter and Neptune. But Mother says focus on the weird part because it's hard, right? Because it's like, I don't know how much more stuff I can handle, right? In the strange movie we're living in. But she says if you bring your attention to the fact of how weird it is, then it can be weirdly possible instead of weirdly impossible. But the block and the square and the Saturn energy, it's like, feels like everything feels glitchy and impossible. But she says, wait a minute, Neptune's there. Hold on. Everything's, it's really about the weirdness shows you that everything's possible, even though it feels impossible and glitchy. So we stand at the precipice, and I hope you feel this shift too, of a little bit more freedom in your psyche, in your peace, to establish yourself as the lover, earth lover, the lover of each other and life that you are. Because it's like all those people that caused us harm and deliberately wanted to cause harm to the people around us, and we couldn't stop them. They could only do that by trashing the true wealth, right? Because they made harm the wealth. See? So in Mother's world, we got to make love the wealth again. And it feels like we've been doing this for so long and it's so exhausting. It's like, when can love win? And that's when this is kind of the energy of this, just like a dam breaking, Jupiter in Cancer. Mercury in Cancer, the sun's going to move into Cancer. It is an overflow of intense emotions of love and joy and ecstasy and existence of being like, we made it through. This is the energy of this time. So can you see it that way? Can you see like this weird world means that anything's possible? It's showing us that we are the creators of our own reality. That's what the movie's about. That we can see that we can co-create ourselves out of this movie. So thank you so much for all your work and over lifetimes and never giving up and keeping loving. And may those blessings just be showered back upon you. And your work is to be ready and willing to receive that. You know, we're just so used to the rape and pillage paradigm. We don't even have a chance to think about it. We haven't been able to develop our delicate skills of inviting, asking, requesting, and receiving. You know, feeling worthy. Like, what if all this love has been held back from you? The scarcity of love, the scarcity of blessings, all your manifestations, your dreams, flooding back into your life. The dam is breaking and the abundance is coming. So maybe that's why we've been going through all this excruciatingly painful trauma. So we can just be like, hey, I'm powerful. I'm good. I deserve. And they're like, okay, cool. Finally, because I was just about to drop that pot of gold on your head because you're not paying attention to the major blessings that are coming in, It's a hazard out there. What a beautiful dream, of being fully supported in the work you came here to do with just the right people coming together. The pieces of the puzzle where we've worked together before, making this organism, this technicolor, beautiful bird that moves across the land, reflecting the light of the sun in the truth of the beauty of this world. That's what's king. And so it's actually a queen because it's her. She's just too sexy. I mean, and so that nature is so beautiful in this way, and it shows us that it's feminine force. And so, yes, we're going to heal and reinstate the kings, but really we need to reinstate the one queen, the whole feminine, and our relationship to her, that feeling of feeling nurtured and held and cared for, what we have been working for and wanting to bring the whole time. So simple, so beautiful, so easy, and yet they've made it so difficult and made us feel bad for being good people. So lift all of that off of you. And that's why the shame's getting triggered, to just clear the whole conscience and go ahead and say like, I wish I did that better. Or I'm sorry, or please forgive me. In your heart, your soul, say it aloud, whatever. Like, just let that energy move. Just let the shame come up. It's coming up over little things so you can feel worthy of the massive abundance that's coming into your life because of the big thing you are, all that energy you have to work with, and the gift that is to the world. A beautiful, beautiful blessing. And the world is going to want to mother your community. The people around you are going to want to shower you with blessings and love because of the work you've done over lifetimes. Can you handle that? Would you let it go to your head? Oh, is that why we got our ego beat out of us? Is it starting to make sense, supernovas? A beautiful day lies ahead where we work with this wholeness and join together. The mother and the father and the sacred marriage, the earth and the heavens and the sun and the water and our heart and our soul, and walk from that place at the same time celebrating the beautiful, dynamic, individuated expression of the light on the water. That's you, the reflection and the dance. And isn't it so fun to dance together and see what each other has and remember and receive and get that validation and empowerment of meeting a supernova soul, immediate validation of knowing who you are as well. Beautiful. And so just keep this in mind as we go through this very strange time, that we're here to take people through this in the bubble of the mother's love. We can go through the trauma, or we can be in the bubble of the love and all harmonized and at peace. And that's what you're doing in your community. It's so powerful and amazing. Thank you so much. And may you really feel this love and appreciation from the forces that you've been working for and with, even though we haven't been able to be in connection with them. So that's coming. Huge opening. So these events will be really important for that because we're opening up to new levels of guidance that have been blocked and quarantined. And so we've got the solstice event Friday, June 20th, and the Cancer New Moon event Tuesday, June 24th, both at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. I hope that you'll consider joining the events. And thank you so much for being a part of this community, being here, listening, receiving the message, working with the energies. When we do this, everything shifts. And that's what I was going back to. It's like, it's really a small amount of supernova souls relatively that come and do these events and the activations and things. But that work affects the whole group and you can feel it when you do it. And I can feel it when you do it. So thank you. And it's like overcoming all those blocks, that we get like, oh, I'll do something else. I don't want to, that seems like too, all the voices that come through. And if you show up and you do it, and you say, no, I'm going to commit to myself and I'm going to give myself this information, this time, this space to reconnect, and may it pay off for you. And it already has paid off huge for the world and for your supernova tribe. And I just really appreciate you being there. So I hope to see you at those events or on the next update. I look forward to let's stay connected energetically through this very crucial. This is the eye of the needle. This square is the turning point. And so know that it has not yet been time to move forward in the new way that you're meant to and you want to and you're being invited to, right? Because now we're not invading and forcing. We're not grasping and grabbing and trying too hard. We're inviting. We're asking. We're receiving, we're requesting through communication and reverence, mutual reciprocity. And so this is the way we need to approach everything in our life. Whereas before it was like, how do I come up with the money I need, right? I got to go try to make it happen. And it's like, no, we're working with a new paradigm. And the will comes from request and invitation, connection, reciprocity, reverence, gratitude. It's a two-way street, right? So just keep that in mind with your creations, figuring this out, and everything we're doing, because it's a completely different way than we've been working. And that's the energy we're feeling in this big shift of this solstice. All these planets sitting at 0 point, moving into new energies and inviting us into a new world based on the ideals of the old world, that how we can do it right by being in alignment with love, mother, care, protection, security, nurturing, healing, intuitive information, listening to the voice of the feminine. All of this must come back very strong in our world to balance the scales of where the feminine has been cut out. And you represent this male or female body, supernova. You have done the work of the mother and you've been harmed because of it. And you came back and you did the work of the mother again. Unapologetically, you just said, no, I'm going to just show up and be who I am. And we made it here. And we're not going to take it anymore. We're just done. You feel it? I just don't, nope, not entertaining that. And then the trigger is gone. The energy's charge is gone. And you can spend more time in Mother's Garden because it's time to get dirty, dig in the dirt and create. This is what happens. From my observation, when the masculine energies are surrounded and feeling loved and the presence of the feminine, it doesn't even have to be a certain interaction. It's just energy, right? And it's sometimes the masculine doesn't even know that the feminine is there. But what happens is that when the masculine feels a comforting presence of the feminine and the mother energy, they just start building beautiful things. Or the masculine energy wants to build beautiful things to honor her. That's how the energies work out. So we all have masculine and feminine within us. So it's kind of like we get in alignment and we feel the love of the mother, and then we're motivated to build for her and with her, you know. So just let this open up to a completely different way, right? Like, it's so weird, so strange, so impossible. It's so weird. It means it's actually something new is possible. And so here we go. Thank you so much for your support, for being here, for being a supernova soul. I love you so much. I hope to see you at those upcoming events, Friday, June 20th for the solstice and Tuesday, June 24th for the Cancer new moon. I look forward to seeing you there on the next update. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.